Hey, love. Welcome to No Matcha, No Mama, the podcast where we pour a little matcha and a whole lot of truth. Every week, I sit with someone I admire, founders, healers, creatives, and friends, and we share a matcha I've crafted just for them. Everything here is intentional. The ingredients in your cup, the energy that we bring, the stories that we open. But this is more than just a podcast. It's a space for feeling seen, understood, and reminded that whatever you are walking through, you are not walking through it alone. At its heart, the show is about exploring how we can truly thrive through all the mess and magic of being human. There's also space to explore the evolving world of longevity and aging well, from new discoveries, treatments, and practices that actually make a difference in our lives so that we can keep showing up for ourselves, our families, and our communities, while remembering that we are all figuring it out as we go. And here we start with matcha, because how we start matters. Today, I'm sitting with Amrita Saigal, the founder of Kudos Diapers, a woman who blends engineering, purpose, and motherhood in such an intentional way. With an MIT background in engineering, she literally could have done anything and invented anything, but she decided to choose to rethink what touches our baby's skin, which I find to be like, I really admire that. And because she believed that families deserved better. And so she approaches problems most people accept at face value with curiosity, care, and deep commitment to doing things the right way. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm really excited to have this conversation. Let's dive in.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So I made you a matcha. It's with whole milk. Matcha is my ritual every morning. Every morning.
Every morning, yeah.
What is something that you do to start your day? What's your ritual that grounds you?
Coffee. Yes. I'm a
big coffee
person.
drinker.
Yeah. Not a big coffee drinker, but I need a cup of coffee as soon as the kids get out of the house for daycare. My husband drives them to daycare. Mm-hmm. That's my 30 minutes of peace and quiet to drink my coffee and just stare at a blank wall, after all the chaos of the morning. Not even scroll, literally just drink coffee in peace.
Well, the scrolling doesn't help in the morning.
No, it doesn't.
No. Is there, before we get into the diaper stuff, Can you, for people who may not know you yet, can you walk us through your background and the path that brought you here, like who you are at your core, the early experiences or value that shaped the way you think and build, and just
absolutely
how you got here?
How I got? No, it's a great question. How you go to starting a diaper company? It's not the top thing on most people's on most people's lists, and I don't think I ever thought I was going to start a diaper company either. So I grew up in the Boston area, in the suburbs of Boston. I came from a family of all engineers, so I think engineering was something that I was always going to do. And my dad, actually, this is kind of funny. He was very clear. He was like, typical Indian immigrant dad. Okay, so I'm caveat with that. He was like, I fully support you, whatever you want to do. But if you want me and your mom to pay for college, we will only pay if you do it in engineering. Anything else, we're fully supportive, but you can get your own loan. So I was like, okay. Anyways, I wanted to be an engineer. So that was never a question. And actually, my junior year in high school, I visited my uncle who worked at Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And I remember just being fascinated by going there and being like, oh my God, like these are products that I use in my everyday life. Mm-hmm. And like engineers make these products. And I still like remember like that trip. It was like Thanksgiving in my junior year in high school. And I was like, this is cool. Like I want to. Yeah. And as a kid, I'd always loved going to Target or CVS with my mom and just like looking at products and being, I know that sounds weird, but like I do remember as a young kid being like, oh my God, someday I want to be able to like make a product that's like sold on a retail shelf. Like that was always, I would say that goal was always there. How we ended up here is a long path, but I do remember that. And then I remember that trip to Cincinnati and visiting my uncle at P&G, and he like gave me a tour, and I was like, this is way too cool. So I went to MIT and I studied mechanical engineering, and I landed my dream internship when I was a junior in college at Procter & Gamble. You don't get to choose what brand you want to work on. And I ended up working, I actually always thought, I was like, oh, if I ever end up getting to work at P&G, I was like, I used to have much longer hair. I used to be like, oh, when you used to see those TV commercials for Pantene, and they had those hair models that are like, okay. So I was like, oh my God, if I worked there, maybe I could be one of those hair models. Anyways, I ended up, total side note, I ended up working for Always Pad was my first.
What's Always Pad?
Always Pads. Always in Tampax.
Oh, the
sanitary pads.
Yes,
sanitary
yes.
pads.
Okay, sorry. I'm like
Always Pads. Yeah.
Yes.
So I ended up working for Always as a manufacturing engineer. Trying to figure out designing the equipment to manufacture those pads.
Interesting. Okay.
And this is high speed precision equipment. You're looking at making tampons or pads or any of these products, diapers at 800 to 1200 a minute. So just think about that speed. It's insane.
That's so fast.
The amount of engineering that goes into making something perfect pop out of that machine every time, kind of crazy, right? So anyways, after I graduated college, I loved working at P&G that summer. So I ended up going back to Procter & Gamble. I worked always as a manufacturing engineer on a few different brands. I worked on Always. I worked on Gillette razors. Surprisingly, when I was at P&G, I actually never directly worked on Pampers. But I left P&G after 2 years there to start my first company in India called Sati Pads, making biodegradable sanitary pads out of waste banana tree fiber.
Wow.
And that spurred from a conversation with my grandmother who grew up in small town India in the 1930s. And there was a huge problem with affordability, accessibility, and availability. And especially in rural parts of India, which is over 60% of India's population, they don't have proper trash systems. So you're either just burying or burning your used sanitary pads. Gross. So it was a real priority to make them completely biodegradable. Right. So you could bury them or burn them and not have any issues. So I started that company. And that's still very much growing and doing.
That still exists.
Yeah. I am no longer involved in the day-to-day operations. I wanted to come back and live in the US, but my co-founder and the team is still very much there.
They're there.
And growing that, which has been awesome. And I did a bunch of different things. I went to business school and then I worked at Google for a couple years. So I've made a bunch of other stops. But as I entered my early 30s, what happened was, and what really how did we end up making diapers was, I didn't have kids at that time. I had my first daughter at 34, and now I have two adorable baby girls. But when I was 30 and my first wave of friends started having kids, this is before, there's now in the last 5-6 years been a wave of eco-friendly baby diapers that have come to the market. But in 2017, 2018, the only brand out there was Honest. And Seventh Generation is no longer actually in the diaper business.
There were that few?
Yeah. All the ones that you pretty much heard of have only come about.
How many years ago?
The 2017. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You just said that. I was thinking about never mind.
Yeah. So at that time when I was 30, I was talking to my friends that were having their first children at that time, and they kept saying there were two problems with the baby diapers that they were using or trying. One, that the eco-friendly ones just didn't perform as well as the Pampers or Huggies.
I tried Diaper, the bamboo ones. They don't work.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah, there's and we can talk about bamboo.
Yeah, let's get to that later.
But
I didn't mean to interject.
No, not interjecting at all. And so it was hey, the eco-friendly ones just didn't perform as well as the big Pamper and Huggies out there. And two, that there was a ton of greenwashing in the industry. So brands that said they were eco-friendly, all that meant is that they were using sustainably harvested wood pulp, if you rip apart a diaper, that wood pulp in the core. But everything else is still plastic. It's all polypropylene, all polyethylene. So I urge anyone listening here, go look at the ingredients in your diaper, because you'd be surprised that everything, especially that top liner, which is main part that your baby's skin is touching all day, in almost every diaper out there, even
is plastic,
is polypropylene, which is plastic. So it's like with adults, they tell you like there's a reason like pediatricians and doctors are like, hey, you should wear cotton underwear. And so why is it any different for what your baby's sitting in for the first 3 years of their life? So that's kind of what started to be like, okay, could we build a baby diaper that performed equally or if not better than the leading players out there and really address this greenwashing and really try and remove as much plastic out of the diaper as possible? So that's kind of what started this and the journey we've been on for the last 7 years.
So you didn't even you started this before you even had kids.
I wasn't even married. Yeah.
You weren't married yet.
I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. Yeah. So it's,
wow.
I know.
I mean,
it's
kudos to you. Pun intended.
Exactly. That's exactly why we named it Kudos, so that it's always pun intended. Yeah. So that was kind of what prompted it. Was like talking to my friends and being like, okay, like we should be able to make something better out there that's has the cleanest ingredients, does not have a plastic liner touching your baby's skin, and performs top of the line. That's really what's
the absorbency level? Because like for me, for example, like I was using Coterie.
Yep.
I still use those for my son because he's in pant diapers.
Yep.
What is like, have you done the comparison?
Absolutely,
like what's the comparison in absorbency? Because for example, like Coterie and like I also use Freestyle, those absorb really well overnight. So they're really good overnight diapers. So like, can you walk us through? We're right
exactly
there.
At that same level. There's different, we're exactly the same, if not slightly higher.
How did you achieve, like how were you able to achieve that? Because I'm wondering, like, because I don't know that much about diapers, I have to admit. The composition of the diaper, how do you achieve that absorbency level? Like, and how were you able to do that with that versus the ones that are plastic lined touching the baby's skin?
Yeah, so that was the biggest thing, right? It's like if we're going to put cotton on the top of the diaper, how do you now achieve that insanely good absorbency? And that is what we have a patent on, and that's what we spent 3 years of R&D developing our double dry technology, which is there are 2 layers sitting right underneath that cotton liner, and the first one has tons and tons of like these little like micro pores. And then the bottom layer is this like nicely woven fabric that's able to, what we need to be able to do is when the baby pees, you need to be able to wick away that moisture away from the baby's bottom. And then the other thing is you don't want to just like wick it and have it pool right in like one spot. Then you need to have this like kind of capillary action to be able to like
spread it out.
So that's what our patent is on. It's called our double dry technology.
Interesting.
And which is why we're the only diaper on the market that has 100% cotton. So if you were to take a Coterie or a Freestyle or a Pampers or a Huggies or any of these and remove their polypropylene top sheet, plastic top sheet, and replace it with cotton, your diaper would fail miserably because of the way that you have to, it's not just like, I feel like someone's just like, I mean, you're like, oh, it's a diaper. You just take this out, switch out for another material. No, there's like so much engineering that goes into it.
Wow.
And material science and manufacturing to how do you get that right absorbency and keep your baby's skin dry. And like, that's the benefits of cotton. I mean, yes, one, like we source it all in the US and we don't bleach it. That's why you'll see some
Is it organic cotton?
It is not organic cotton. You cannot get vast quantities of organic cotton in the US. That's one challenge. And we didn't want to source the cotton from Asia. And secondly, organic cotton is 2 to 3x the cost of regular cotton. So then
But it is unbleached.
It's unbleached, which is why you see black. But we use something called True Cotton, which in my mind, it's this process out of, it's a company out of Mississippi. It's like family cotton farms. And what they do is they have this like really, really good way to clean and protect the cotton. So there's no heat, there's no chemicals, there's nothing to clean it. It's all mechanically done. But if we were to do, just to give you a sense of like cotton versus a polypropylene top sheet, cotton 6x the cost. And then if you were to, which already makes it significantly more expensive. And then if you were to go to organic cotton, you're looking at 2 to 3x that cost, and then it becomes unaffordable
for everybody.
Everybody. So, So we believe we have the cleanest process for non-organic cotton.
That's great.
Called True Cotton, which you guys should look up because it's
okay.
I think it's pretty fascinating.
True Cotton.
Yeah.
Just TRU. Oh, TRU.
Cotton. Yeah.
Okay. And then why did you decide cotton and not bamboo? Can we talk about the differences?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And so at the surface, you're like, yes, bamboo, cotton, they are both natural biodegradable materials. Okay. The difference is, and there's pros and cons to every material. No material is perfect. But with bamboo, the challenge is if you think about how hard bamboo is, like the raw material, right? You've seen bamboo sticks, right? It's like hard. So to make it into something super soft, absorbent, it involves a ton of chemical processing. And you end up, so this is a question, you end up releasing a ton of hydrogen sulfide and carbon disulfide in that processing and leaching that into the waterways. So then you're like, okay, yes,
so this
you
isn't even eco-friendly.
It's a trade-off, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, the end material ends up being biodegradable and compostable, but you've done a lot of toxic processing to get there. So like, these are all things that you have to do.
So it like evens out. So it's not even.
So then you're like, do
better.
I want to be using, like, if your options are like I said, from an affordability standpoint, in order to make this product something people could afford and that we could source in the US, we couldn't do organic cotton, but we're doing this True Cotton, which is breakthrough, clean processing.
No
There's
chemicals,
that.
Yeah.
And then you have bamboo or you have plastic. So like I said, no one of these is perfect, but from our mind, we felt that cotton was the best, especially for the benefits that it gives to the baby's skin, because of the breathability of the cotton, especially for kids that have sensitive skin, diaper rash, eczema. It really, really helps with that.
Okay.
And so, I mean, so I would say there's pros and cons to every material, but we felt that cotton was the best for what we were trying to achieve.
I really want to get into like why the plastic lining is, because obviously like it's difficult because a lot of these diapers are claiming that they're like clean and EWG verified and all of the components are clean, yet there's a plastic lining that's touching the skin that's technically not exactly non-toxic. So like, why is that plastic lining touching that baby's skin so bad?
I mean, I don't want to use the word bad, but it's like, can we do, it's the same reason, like, why do, I'm assuming like a lot of parents listening to the audience, right? Like we all try to use glass cups or like glass bottles, like trying to just generally move away from plastics, right? It's like, yes, there are studies that show with like prolonged exposure to plastics, you're absorbing phthalates and chemicals and VOCs into your body. Yet are you seeing these? I mean, the biggest manifestation for people that are using plastic lined diapers is diaper rash. That's probably the biggest thing. And like that's like probably some of the most positive feedback we get, is that, and you can never claim that any diaper is never going to give you diaper rash.
Everybody's skin is different.
Because it's like you change something in your diet, your kid's sick, right? But like we tend to get a lot of positive feedback around like, oh, we were using this other brand and we had diaper rash and we came across you guys and it like really helped clear up. So I would say like generally it's around this idea of like, how do we remove plastics and the future of microplastics and all of that? And like, how do we just like for me, right? I'm someone, and I'm assuming a lot of your listeners are the same, right? That like a lot of us have gone through infertility journeys, right? Like we went through IVF to have
both of them.
The first one and the second one.
Oh, amazing!
I know, and then the second one was a surprise. So the interesting thing is like for how much like money and like stress and like how challenging it was. It's like once like our daughter was born, we were like, we want to do the absolute best. Like, I feel like even through that IVF journey, like I tried to like change my diet and remove like all plastics. And like, so it's like, I'm like, I want to set my child up for the best future that she can have. And so the more I can get away from plastics early on, and no one's perfect and it's not possible to get away 100% from plastics.
No, because they're still in the packaged foods.
They're everywhere.
Not just the packaged foods, but like your meat is in plastic. Like everything you buy is pretty much in plastic. It's unavoidable.
It's unavoidable, but it's like whatever small steps that we can take and removing any potential for issues that could come up because of prolonged exposure to plastic, we're trying to do it.
Right.
That's the...
So you live in a house, you really care about this stuff, it sounds like.
I care a lot about it.
What are some of the things like, I guess because it sounds like you had infertility issues. So did you go through like a wellness journey with that in order to remedy?
I mean, I tried everything that I could in terms of cleaner eating and like removing as much of like, I mean, I grew up in a household. I mean, it's like, it's funny, right? I feel like growing up in the 80s and 90s, we used to heat our food in plastic containers. Now I'm like, how did we do
why did we do
why
that?
Did we do that?
Or like my food used to get heated in the microwave with like plastic wrap over it. And now I look back and I'm like, what was like, why?
Why did we do that? Like, why? Like,
why was that? It was the norm.
It wasn't weird, right? Like, anyways.
No, everybody did it.
Everyone did it. So you're like, now you look back on your childhood and you're like, oh, wow. Like, I feel like we're trying to do such different things with our kids.
Well, I feel like our kids are at an advantage because of it, because there are a lot of parents now really care and they're doing it very differently. So their exposure to all of these things is
we're just trying,
far
right?
less.
We're trying to set them up for the best
success
possible future. And in this world, as like environmental concerns are getting bigger and bigger, like we all need to do our part to help avoid that, right? How do we like reduce landfill waste? How do we help improve climate change, right? There's so many things, and each of these small things are like these small steps like add up, right? So I think that's like the biggest thing. It's like I feel like a lot of times people are like, is like my like small effort really going to amount to anything? And
we hope so.
We hope so, right? We can try our best. Like every single person doing a little bit, like it adds up.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's kind of the journey that we're all on.
Yeah, for sure. What else? So did you do anything differently when, like, you said your second baby was like a surprise and you had IVF with the first one? Did you do something?
Our first, Avni, my older daughter, we did a transfer. She was born. And then we actually tried 2 transfers after, and they both failed.
Oh my goodness.
I know, which was traumatic because you're like, hey, it worked the first time. It should work again.
Yeah, and your body went through so much to prepare for those transfers too.
Yeah. So then got pregnant naturally after the second one failed. And you're like, life works out in a funny way, right?
So weird. But were you doing anything differently with your diet or?
Just trying to keep on the same path of like, try to eat better, exercise, remove as much of the plastic and toxins from your body,
because
right?
you weren't trying.
And to be honest, I think that's what happened. You're like, because you're like, there's no way this could happen, right? Like,
and then it did.
You're like, I wasn't even tracking ovulation or anything. And you're like, oh, wait. Like,
yeah. I find that, like, I hear that story, like, quite often. Like, when somebody stops trying to get pregnant, you, like, focus all of your energy on something because you want it so badly to happen. And then as soon as you stop focusing your energy on that, like,
yeah. And when people say that, and people be like, oh, just like, don't stress about it. You're like, okay, well, it's easier to say that. But like the reality is like, but this time, because like I was like, okay, we were actually gearing up for our next transfer, and then the IVF doctor, I remember at the end of August of 2024, called and was like, hey, like, did your cycle start? Are we starting that? And I was like, it hasn't come. And I'm like, I'm usually irregular, so like it's fine. and then a week later, they're like, hey, and then I was like, now this is weird.
You were pregnant.
I was pregnant.
That must have been such a fun. How did you find out? Did you do a test?
Then I did a test, and then I called the IVF doctor, and I was like,
I'm pregnant.
I don't think we need to start a cycle. And I remember I drove to the clinic in Santa Monica, and he was like, science is great, but then like science can't explain everything.
Seriously.
You're like, well, how did that happen after 2 failed transfers? So anyways, yeah. So
that's incredible.
It's crazy, right?
I want to backtrack a little bit back to the diapers.
Yeah.
Aside from the like plastic, what parts of the traditional design and traditional like components of the diapers made you want to rethink and make your own? Or was it just the plastic?
It was a few things. It was the absorbency. Like, how do you get top line absorbency with natural materials? So that was one. The reality is like we couldn't really change like the overall structure or shape of the diaper because we rely on like contract manufacturers that have large lines that make hundreds of millions of diapers a year. So you can't like change the like actual structure, or unless I like built my own diaper factory, but that's
maybe you can one day.
Someday. I don't have that kind of money right now, but maybe someday that would be amazing. So like the actual structure was never like really in question, but it was like, how do we focus on the materials? How do we focus on absorbency, and how do we focus on tackling greenwashing? So we never claim that we're 100% biodegradable, 100% compostable. We tell you like which components are, like, are we working our very best to get there? Are we working with some of the leaders on the companies on the R&D in terms of like the elastic in the diaper, like that's a standard elastic, or the plastic tabs, but like we're working on the R&D, but there's also this like, the reality is like there is this like you're also balancing costs, right? The reality is that a lot of these non-plastic materials cost a lot more.
Yeah.
And this is like my future. Like when is like eco-friendly and biodegradable? When is that going to become the norm? It's going to become the norm when it becomes cheaper to buy
those
clean
ingredients
products with natural material than it is to buy the plastic. And and how do we get there? The reality is like, we are the only one using cotton in the United States for the top sheet of a diaper. So those supply chains aren't super built out. And until these supply chains are
until more companies start doing it,
then the cost will come down. But people, it's like a chicken egg problem, but they don't want to invest in it until the cost is cheaper. So it's like, so it's a fascinating problem. You need these, like you want to get these natural material supply chains to become cheaper than their plastic counterparts. And that's when like the unfortunate reality is like a lot of these.
When is that going to happen? Because it doesn't seem like it will.
But I think
at
it's
least
like
soon, because.
But if there's enough like smaller companies really trying to make a dent together,
another company just needs to figure out their own system. But then like you don't want anybody to copy your technology.
I don't want anyone to copy our technology.
Is there a way? Do you think there's ever a way?
Cotton for other products.
Yeah. Do you think there's ever a way to like make a diaper completely plastic free, or is that not possible?
No, I think there's definitely a path forward. Like probably one of the like there are trials and R&D for pretty much every component of the diaper. Like I said, once again, it becomes a cost thing. Are you going to buy a $200 diaper? No, right?
No.
So it's like, it's a balancing. It's like, where do we want to put it? Like I said, the cotton was 6x the cost of plastic.
So you found a different type of cotton. Yeah.
So you have to choose where you're going to do it. And then hopefully we can get, as costs come down, we can bring more and more components so you can get a truly biodegradable plastic-free diaper.
And you just have like the standard diapers. You don't have the pant diapers.
Not yet. We're working on it.
Are you working on those?
Yeah, we're launching that this year.
Amazing. Yeah. Because I love pant diapers because they're like easier, obviously, at a certain point when they're so mobile.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that is very much, we're working on that. And
is there anything else that you're working on that you can share
that's probably the biggest thing right now is pull-ups. That's, and then our bigger thing right now is just accessibility and getting our products into more retailers. So like right now we sell direct to consumer on our website.
Okay.
And then we also sell at Target. So now
Target,
that is
I saw on Amazon too. It just like takes longer to get them.
No, we're not on Amazon yet. Hopefully that's also on the radar. Yeah,
then maybe there are like other sellers trying to sell theirs on Amazon, because I saw it because I was looking into it. I was like, where can I find these?
There are sometimes like third-party sellers that buy and try to resell, but like we're not directly selling anywhere except our website and mykudos.com or at Target right now.
Is there a reason why you're not selling on Amazon, or you just haven't gotten in yet?
We just haven't gotten to it yet. So we were just like, we're going to put all of our effort into doing Target really well and crushing it there and then growing from there.
How's it going at Target?
It's been awesome. Yeah. Our Target consumer shops at Target, and so it's been huge for us, and especially at Target, because online we only sell like 1 month supply. At Target we sell a 10-day supply, so it's also easier for people to trial and then and go try it there rather than committing to a whole month.
What's the pricing of the diapers?
So we sell a month's supply at $84. So like you said, you're using Coterie. We're 10 to 15, 20% cheaper than that. We're obviously more expensive, probably 20 to 30% more expensive than your standard Pampers or Huggies. So we're trying to solve that. We're trying to be this in between, what we like to call like affordable luxury. That's kind of the sweet spot that we're trying. We want to be accessible to everyone. We know we aren't right now, but we're continuing to work as fast and hard as we can
hopefully you'll get there.
To get there once cotton prices come down.
Well, let's hope that happens soon.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about motherhood.
Yeah. Our favorite topic. We have kids exactly the same age. So
Yes. So your kids are
3.5 and 10 months.
Yeah. Has building a product centered on safety and transparency changed the way that you parent? Or do you think it impacted?
I think it's
because since you did it before, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think it's like changed. I think it's like that like mindset I had like during our infertility journey, like bringing that same thing to our kids and making sure like we're using as little plastic as possible, using the cleanest ingredients for everything. I think like that's generally just like a mindset I think we've had, and I think most of our audience has, and I think the reality is like we're not like gonna go like I think there's myself and I would say our target consumer, and probably you fall in, and I'm assuming you fall into this as well. It's like you want to do the best you can, but it still has to fit into your lifestyle and has to be convenient, right? Like you're like, as much as like people would be like, I would love to clot diaper, like as a busy parent, like you
it's just that sounds overwhelming to me. The thought of like constantly washing the diapers.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like you want to do things, but like it needs to work. It needs to work and it needs to fit within your budget and your lifestyle.
Yeah, like I don't love plastic, but like I still give my kids pouches, because the refrigerated ones, because it's an easy way to like give them nutrients, and I know that it's not really leaching that much because it's refrigerated. So like,
and I also do pouch. That's what I'm saying. So it's like wherever you can fit it in, I think that's the best we can all just try and do.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like there's like a lot of pressure. Like when you're in this mindset, right? You like want to do everything perfect. And then, but you sit back and you're like, but I just can't.
You can't. No, you can't.
Like I need flexibility. I need to be able to give my kid a quick snack. Like, and then everything is in plastic anyways that you buy at the supermarket. So like what snack isn't in plastic that you're giving them? So, right? So
yeah. So like I said, we can all just try our best and hope that our small actions amount to
make a difference. In what ways did motherhood make you a sharper innovator or decision maker?
I think there's less time now. I think that's the reality. So that you just have less time to be like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Like even at work, like, I mean, the reality is like 5 to 8 p.m., like most parents are offline, right? Between school pickup, bedtime. So it's like you just have less hours in the day. And so there's just like things have to be done quicker. There's less time to aggregate. So I think it's like your efficiency. Yes, you have less time, but I don't think and yes, you might physically be working less hours, but I feel like your efficiency in those hours just skyrockets. So I think it's just, and I think the other thing that's been, really helpful with having 2 kids in diapers is that like for product testing, product feedback, it's
you're
just
using
like,
it on your own.
You're all the time, right? It's like, oh, we tested this, we got this. Like I don't need to, with that initial R&D, like I had to like find friends and like recruit people.
No,
and
it's
like
easy.
Now, obviously we need more than 2 testers, but it's like a good starting point to know, is something gonna work or not? Like we're using my, this is actually funny. My mom is like, you haven't night-timed potty trained my older daughter yet. And I'm like, I'm not going to. I need her to pee through the night till the pull-ups are launched. So
my son is still in his pull-ups too.
So you're like, it's okay. But I'm like, I'm not nighttime potty training till all the R&D is done for that. So
keep them in as long as possible.
Yeah. Great for my LTV as well. So.
Did you grow up in India?
No, I grew up in Boston.
You grew up in
born and raised in Boston.
Got it.
Yeah. Your grandparents were in India, so
your parents.
They came for graduate school, and then so they've been here for 40 years. So
okay,
yeah.
Had you go back a lot? You said you were just there.
I was there. Yeah, I went a lot growing up because my grandparents were there and cousins and everything. But since most people, including my grandmother's now in the U.S., so less reasons to go. But I feel that I do want to make sure my kids, like, even though they don't have immediate family in India anymore, I want to make sure that they're still culturally connected to India.
Do you speak the language?
I speak Hindi, yeah.
Okay.
So, And
do you speak to your kids?
I feel like mine isn't great. Like I fully understand and I can get by, but it's like, I'm like, this is something I feel like very like frustrated about. I'm like, I want them to speak Hindi and understand Hindi. So we're trying to force all the grandparents to speak Hindi and Tamil to the kids. So
yeah, I speak Italian, but like no one else around me does.
It's hard.
So like I'm speaking to my kids sometimes, but my husband still doesn't know it, even though he says he wants to learn. It's like, it's been 10 years, babe. Like, when's that going to happen?
I'm like, if they can understand, I feel like that would be we'll see.
He can sometimes. Ugh. My kids do, I think, understand. I mean,
I'm saying the kids understand. Yeah.
I'd like to think that they understand what I'm saying.
But good for you for making that effort.
I try.
You try. Yeah.
There's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
Because no one else is speaking to them. And when you're not, I find that like when I'm not around the language, it fades.
Totally.
So like I don't think about it as much. But like when I'm there, like I can, because I'm half Italian. So I grew up, my dad speaking to me. So I had to speak to him in Italian. So like I know the language very well. The grammar is not great and I can't write or read, but like I know the language.
That's how I feel about Hindi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like we were just in India for a month and I feel like my 3.5-year-old like her Hindi picked up like so fast.
Yeah.
And so I'm like really hoping that my parents can keep talking to her in Hindi and we'll see.
She'll get it. Tutors?
Yeah.
Once she gets like a little bit older and she can like actually study.
Yeah. No,
that's what I want to do is make sure they learn it like that. Italian, I mean.
That makes sense.
What's something about motherhood that surprised you?
Surprised me. Oh my God. What didn't surprise us? Like
it doesn't have to be one thing. I mean,
it's everything, right? I think every parent will say it's just like you knew how much time it was going to take, but like the fact that you just have like no time anymore, right? I think that's like that.
And it got worse with 2, right?
Oh yeah. For me,
have no time.
For me, that I thought it was like. I actually think the transition from 1 to 2 was harder than 0 to 1.
Agree.
I think like 0 to 1, you're like, okay, my lifestyle is going to change. But somehow with like 1, you could be like, I can tell my husband, hey, you take the baby. I'm going to go like take it out. It's like, it's always one-on-one defense, right? So
yeah, unless it's 1-on-2 and you're like, bye.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like what that's kind of for, and like, I understand like I'm in a very like fortunate and privileged position that like I have like able and willing grandparents. And that's like game changers, just like, like, having that support system has like changed. I mean, and my parents are in Boston, my in-laws are in Austin, but even this week, my husband's traveling to DC for the whole week. And we just got back from India and my daughter had 103-degree fever and had an ear infection.
God.
And like, so I honestly on Sunday called my mom and I was like, can you please fly in tonight? And she did. And
that's nice.
And so she's here all of this week. So it's just like that. And we've called my in-laws in a pinch. Like, so I wish they lived next to us, but the fact that we have willing and able grandparents, I will never take for granted on both sides. It's honestly like probably the thing I'm like most grateful for, that those are relationships that have just worked, and seeing like grandparents become so close to the grandkids. It's
a great bond.
It's a great bond. So I think like that's been probably the thing I was like, I knew my parents and in-laws were going to help out, but to the extent which they have has just been like, amazing.
Yeah. We have one living grandparent and it's great. Like she has a great relationship with both of them. I wish the other ones were around, but like we do well with one. And like last night, last night my older son slept at her house. No. And like just like a night with just like one baby.
It feels like a vacation now, right?
It really does. Like,
which is crazy because when you only had one, you're like, oh my God, this one is like.
Yes. But like when you have 2 adults on one baby, it is so different than one-on-one.
Agreed.
And one-on-one, right? And like bedtime was smoother because does your toddler's routine take forever to go to bed?
Yeah, the bedtime. It's like It's like, okay, let's start the clock now. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we're still at it. So good to know I'm not the only parent struggling with it's a full-time job in itself, getting to bed.
Oh my God.
And then waking up in the morning to get into daycare time. It's also like, I don't want to wake up. You're like, then why did you go to bed earlier?
I know.
Yeah, so.
Is yours going to bed like later and later? Like
later and later.
To?
Later and later and later. It's like we used to be like 7:30 and then it like moved to 8, then 8:30, 9. Now it's like 9:30. She's like, hey, I'm still ready to party, guys. And you're like
9:30?
You're like, I know. So we need to fix
reel
this.
it in.
We need to reel it in. Yeah.
It's harder. It's harder. Easier said than done.
Way.
Have you tried maybe giving her like a melatonin free like sleep calm situation? I've been dabbling in that a little bit. I'm trying to figure out if it's working or not.
Have you tried it yet or no?
I've tried this one that I'm like testing. It's by the company like Boiron. It's the like homeopathic.
Okay.
They have like a lot of different homeopathic remedies, like the camellia, like that type of stuff. The calendula.
Yep.
It's like a sleep calm. So it's like all homeopathic ingredients. I've tried it and like I think it helps a little bit sometimes. I need to test it for longer, so I just bought more. But they also, the brand Haya just made like a melatonin free with like L-theanine and GABA and stuff like that. So like I'm kind of curious about that. Because I feel like they have a difficult and it's very normal. They have a difficult time like unwinding because at the end of the day,
so much excitement.
So like there's just so much going on in their brain. They start asking a bunch of questions and like they're so excited and animated and all these things, and really they should be winding down, and it's really hard. So like if we can give them something that's like not like, I really don't want to rely on melatonin because obviously that can like mess up with their melatonin production at such a young age. But if there are other things that might be able to help, like I wonder if it's worth it.
I agree with you. I feel like I'm going to go home and
look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't obviously tried the Haya one, but it looks kind of promising just because I know that like I love GABA and like it's a very small amount for them.
Yep.
But I imagine that combination is probably pretty good. To at least
like I said,
try.
I literally feel like I'm going to go home and go research this like right now and be like, at this point, I'm like, anything to help with bedtime, right?
Right? And so you give it to them like an hour and a half before you want them to go to sleep. That way by then they're like, oh, they feel like more calm and relaxed. And then like.
That's the battle, right? It's like, yeah, their minds are just like racing.
Yeah. So. And you like, my son wants to play like this monster game like over and over and over again where like we just scare each other, pretend to be monsters, and the other one hides. And then he wants to read 5 books and then all these things. And I'm like,
one more book.
It's like, no.
We're done, guys.
I limit the books. I'm like, you get, depending on what time it is, I was like, this is how many books you get. And then he always tries to negotiate.
We do the same thing. So now you bring the 3 books ahead of time, you lay them out, and then you hand them to me one by one, and that's working.
This is what happens. I go, we're going to do 2 books. He goes, 5. I go, no, 2. He goes, 4. I go, 3. He goes, 5. I'm like, no, dude. I was like, then 2. So we have like this negotiation where he just keeps trying to raise it and I'm trying to bring him down. And then I'll get him down to like 3. And then I'm like, okay, 3. He's like, okay, 3. And then I'm like, great, we're going to do 3. And he's like, no, it's 4. I'm like, dude, we just agreed on 3. Like, this is what we're doing.
I hear you. I also, we're in the exact same position, but then I'm also like, if she wants to keep reading books, I should like keep reading books. Like that's the best, but it's like, we're.
But like until what time? Because like, don't you want some time to just like lay down? Like I'm going to sleep by like 9:30. So like I want time before that in my own bed. Yeah. To wind down.
There's
not with a toddler. There's no time for you for that.
There's none of that anymore. With 1 kid there was. Now with 2, it's like I feel like we hit the bed at 10 p.m. and we're like out cold.
Oh my gosh.
So
I feel like definitely maybe research some of that calming stuff right. Because it sounds like your toddler's really taking advantage of you guys.
And we just went to India for a month.
And so she's jet lagged.
She's jet lagged and like
was staying up late there.
Staying up late because she like we were on vacation and like her whole schedule like flipped, and so we need to
get her on schedule.
But grandma's here this week. Grandma doesn't, when grandma's here.
Oh my God, no, it doesn't help at all. They want to stay up and hang out with them. They want to hang
out. She's like, I want to sleep with grandma. I want to do this. And then like,
so then grandma, maybe like, grandma, you're doing bedtime. Bye.
And then grandma, I mean, and then, I was like, you never spoiled me when I was a kid, but look what you're doing to my kid.
That's what they're there for. That's what grandparents are supposed to do.
Well, then I can confidently say all 4 of the grandparents are fulfilling their role to the
to the nth
so you
degree.
would never buy me all these things and all these toys and all this, random stuff that, but
toys that you don't want to use.
She has grandma. Grandma's like, of course, whatever you want. Now she's like, if you don't get it from me, I'm going to ask grandma. And you're like, okay, go
ask grandma.
For it. Yeah. So.
My son does this thing where like I'll say something. I'll say like no to something, or I'll say like maybe, and he goes like, okay, I'm going to tell Papa yes. And I was like, no,
I just manipulation is next level.
I just said
the manipulation
no.
is next level. Yeah.
He's like, no, well, I'm going to tell Papa. And I'm like, no, you're not. He's going to say what I said. Like, we are the parents here.
I hear you 100%.
It's hilarious.
Or I'll say no to something and then she'll go, Dada, Mama said yes, I can have the lollipop.
Yes. My son does the same thing. He'll be like, Mama said I could have a lollipop. I was like, to his dad, I was like, when did I say that? When did I tell you?
Next level manipulation, toddler manipulation. Teenager manipulation is next level. Wasn't prepared for it.
No, you were never prepared for it. That started to happen like a lot more recently. Like I feel like that this is the age.
I'm telling you, this 3.5. I like.
It's also really cute though.
The cuteness, because now you're like having these 2-way conversations.
Yeah,
and,
they're like a little person that you can hang out with.
Who like fully communicates now. And that's game changer too. So that's fun. But it comes with, all these other challenges. So.
For sure.
But that's parenthood, right?
Yeah. My husband and I had Dino in the bed with us the other night to like watch the Olympics a little bit. He like wanted to watch downhill skiing randomly. But it was like cute. It was like 8 o'clock. And I was like, Justin, like I did like at a certain point, like he needs to go to bed. And I said to him, I was like, he's like, we're going to lay in bed. We're going to watch TV and then you're going to lay with me. I was like, no. We are laying with you in our bed. When it is time to go to sleep, it is time for you to go to your bed. We're not then laying with you in your bed. Like, that's not happening.
It's a
full
lay in my bed. Yeah,
always. And then I'm like, no, Dino, this is what's going to happen. He's like, okay. I was like, do you understand? He's like, okay. Yes. Okay, Mom. I'm like, good.
Yeah, but then at least my older one, Emily, will be like, I agree to everything. And then when it's time, she'll be like, no, you need to come lay down with me too. Right?
It's like, no, one more kiss. I want Papa to lay with me. And I was like, he already laid with you. Like, we're not doing this again. Like, bro.
Bro, literally, bro. Yeah.
Stop.
Speed this up, right? So, yeah.
I want to go hang out in my bed for an hour and watch a show and turn my brain off.
Yes, correct.
And go to sleep.
Correct. You and me both.
I don't want to sit here and negotiate with you.
That's every parent, I think.
Tell you another story.
And if there are parents that have figured out this negotiation and how to do bedtime easier,
Is your daughter like obsessed with talking about poop?
I think that's every toddler.
Because my son, it literally just like talks about poop. Yeah, and how much he wants to eat poop and love poop. I'm like, this is fine.
Her favorite thing to say is, Dada's a poo-poo head. Ah! That's her favorite thing to say.
Oh my God. It's poop all day long.
Poop all day long, every day. That's how we get her to smile for pictures. Dada's poop on his head. That's literally how you get her to smile on demand for a photo. It works like a charm. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. No, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. So.
Toddlers, man.
Toddlers. Cheers to toddlers.
Cheers to toddlers. All right. Well, before we wrap, I wanted to ask you one more question.
Yes.
If you could go back and tell your younger self something, what would it be?
Okay, I'll take this from like a professional standpoint. And I would say the biggest thing is like I think in the beginning of my career, like I was a little more afraid to ask for help when I needed it. Mm-hmm. And I think what I realized is like people generally, I'm generalizing, people are willing to help. People want to mentor, but you just need to ask for it. And I think that's probably been like, I feel like as I've gone in my career, like I've become much more like willing, and it's easier to be like, hey, like, I don't know this. Can you help me? How would you do this? And the more you get, the more I feel like people are like, oh, like, thanks for asking. Like now I notice this when like, younger people in their career like ask me for advice, like I want to help. I want to see people succeed. And I think like when I was younger, I felt like, oh my God, I'm bothering this person.
Yes.
Like they don't have time for it.
For
but
sure.
I think for the most part, I mean, there's obviously people out there that don't, but I feel like for the most part, people want to help like the younger generation succeed. And so like my biggest thing is like, I wish I had done even more of like, hey, like, how do I do this? If I want to like get to this stage in my career, like, can you like tell me how you think I should go? I think just like being open to like asking for what you want and asking for help is like something I feel like I try to tell everyone, because I mean, yes, once in a while will someone shut you down? Yeah, but like, okay, that's like 1 out of 100 times. So like those other 99 times, you're going to end up ahead. And I think like, I can't stress this enough. Like people want to help, and like, they just don't know what you need help with often. And they're not mind readers, right? No, they're busy. They are busy. But if you have like specific asks that are like very time boxed, like people want to help.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think I felt the same way as a younger kid. Like not even like kid, but as a growing younger adult.
I'm just talking like early in my career, like even like from the time of like internships. So like when I'm saying younger self, I'm just talking like from the start of like career and like job stuff. I think that would be.
I felt the same way. I thought that when I wanted to ask for help, people didn't want to do that.
Or they would think like you're incompetent or something. But like, it's like, no one expects you to know all the answers at 22.
No. But you don't think that way when you're in that younger position. You think about it now looking back on that, because you look at it from a different, obviously, perspective because you're older.
And the one other thing I would say on that same line is like, I remember when I was like a first year engineer right out of college, like I would have never reached out to like my director or my VP. I mean, we're like 5-6 levels like ahead of you. You'd be like, but like actually like finding time with those people, like this is fascinating. Like my director of engineering, when I joined at Procter & Gamble, is now our like technical advisor, diaper engineer on our team. And he always jokes, he's like, you used to work for me. And like, I was 5 levels below him. And now like, he always jokes like, I work for you now. And it's like, I was like able to build that relationship with someone so senior, even out of college. And I think it made a difference. And so the more you can do that and not be afraid to do it, just assuming people have the best intentions. And if you get shut down once or twice, don't let it deter you. I think that goes a long way.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the kind of answer you're looking for,
that's fine. You can answer it whatever way you want. I still think it's good advice.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I'm going to end with a little prayer. May we carry what we need, release what we don't, and stay open to the magic that is still unfolding. Thank you for sipping your matcha and sharing your heart with me today.
Thank you. This was super special and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. Me too. Thanks for listening to No Matcha, No Mama. If you loved the episode, share with a friend, leave a review, or come say hi. My Instagram is at Dina De Laurentiis and my TikTok is at No Matcha, No Mama. If you want to connect with my amazing guest, her personal Instagram is at Amrita Saigal and at Kudos to Baby is the Kudos Diapers handle. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube, my Apple, my Spotify. If you never want to miss an episode, I would really, really, really appreciate it. And remember, thriving takes intention. See you next time.